Hi, I'm Hannah Jarrett, Director of Product Marketing at Elastic Path. And today I'm joined by Elastic Path customer, Tom Laaber, Head of Business Operations at Maavee. Today we'll be discussing how Maavee leverages a composable approach with Elastic Path at the core of their commerce tech stack. Before we get started, Tom, would you like to introduce yourself and Maavee?
Sure thing. Thanks, Hannah. Yeah, so my name is Tom. I'm heading up the business operations here at Maavee, which really means that I'm sitting between the business and the tech / our solutions to make sure that the entire architecture and the environment that we're building meets all our business needs. I've been part of Maavee since the very early days, so pretty much since the beginning. And my background is more in the HR tech world. So e-commerce was super new to me. And this is one of the things I love, diving into new things, learning new stuff, not knowing what you get hit with. And it's been a fun ride so far. And also looking forward to this little interview today.
Little chat. Awesome. That is super helpful. What drew Maavee to a composable approach, composable commerce in general?
Right. So when we first set out to build our solution or our e-commerce platform, we did have a clear vision of the architecture that we desired, right? And that was a headless approach. Mm-hmm. Now, headless really has a spectrum ranging from open API solution in a very traditional way to an API first solution, right? So, and everything in between. Now, as a startup, we felt that we didn't feel we had to balance the speed to market, the cost with flexibility, right? Mm-hmm. So we pretty soon realized, though, that the easy and quick approach we initially took with another solution was not probably the most sustainable in the long run, right? And we spent a lot of time and checking every part of the technology. We knew that we have to check everything, right? You have to make sure that the technology meets all our requirements. And we spent a lot of time checking every part of that technology. But after a few months, we hit a wall, unfortunately, during that implementation, right? Again, we thought it's a great idea to pick the easy and quick way. Could have worked out, but it didn't for us, unfortunately. Now, it turned out that solution that we implemented could just not deliver what we needed. And it was more the problem of the combination of the processes that we had in place, right? It's I don't want to say that we have a complex business process, but it is probably more complex than I want to sell 3 products and that's all I want to do on my site.
For sure.
Now, it was a super frustrating setback because we have built roughly what it was, probably 95-98% of so we were so close. We were really close to our launch date, and then that happened, right?
Oh, brutal.
It is brutal, but you learn, right? You fall and you stand up and you learn and continue, right? So we had to go back and basically start from scratch. We had to start fresh. And what we did then is we had to go out and find a new solution to support what we needed, right? So our focus was really on finding a very comprehensive and open technology that could meet all our requirements, right? And with Elastic Path Composable Commerce Platform, that's exactly what we found, right? So we went through to get there, we went through you can imagine after that big failure, we went through a very rigorous evaluation process that included a proof of concept and all kind of things, right? And we had to do it in the shortest possible time because we were just before launch, so we didn't want to lose too much time. Now, the great thing, what happened is that the Elastic Path team did an incredible job to sit down with us and review and discuss our vision and architecture. And that helped a lot. And of course, what stood out to us about the composable commerce solution was the flexibility in open architecture, right? So this really enabled us not only to implement phase one, quick and easy and go to market, but it really helped us to lay the foundation for a long-term vision. And with EP's composable commerce, we were able to overcome the challenges we faced with this other solution, unfortunately. That's number one. And as mentioned, it met our short-term e-commerce needs, but it also set the stage for our long-term growth and the success.
Sure. Yeah, well, first of all, sorry you went through that whole experience where you were so close with another solution. And unfortunately, you're not the only person the only company that has come to us with that challenge where, you have a urgency to get out into the market, and you do maybe have some TCO or cost parameters that you need to stick around. Of course, who doesn't have those things? But in the end, you do need this kind of additional bit of flexibility, whether that's just for today or for long term. So unfortunately, it happens. And we do see composable commerce as offering kind of a freedom to create is what we think. And that really comes back to the architecture and the ability to set you up for now and later. So hopefully we'll be in partnership together of your now for today and then later as you continue to grow. We talked a little bit about the advantages of composable commerce. What about pitfalls? Because nothing's perfect. So if you were talking to someone who's brand new to composable commerce, and what would be some of the things you'd want to make them aware of some of the challenges with this approach?
Right. I mean, obviously, the composable commerce provides an incredible level of flexibility and scalability, right? Especially when you build a headless solution. Now, it allows you to add all the best in breed solutions as you need them, when you need them. Just as an example, like state and local text, right? Or search functionalities, whatever it is, right? But of course, with that, as you can imagine, with all the flexibility and the scalability, it does require some technical expertise, right? Not just like turn it on, done, right? And you need to architect all of that and build a solution top of the core platform, right? Whether it's built on top or integrated or whatever it is. And while there are many plug and play solutions out there that probably don't require any or barely any technical engineering, it's pretty obvious what the downside is, right? It probably won't support most of the, not even complex, but a little bit trickier. Not the standard, I have 3 products here on the website.
Yes.
And that's going to be an issue. But again, you need a proper technical project. You need some planning up front. You need the right team planning to make sure that your composable commerce platform does deliver what you actually need, right? And I would say it's when we started working with Elastic Path, so we knew that, okay, this is going to be way bigger and way more complex and all, everything, which is absolutely true. We had our technical team, which was great. The great thing about that's our experience with the implementation of the commerce platform, or composable commerce platform, excuse me, is that it was actually surprisingly quick and easy. Which is good, right? Of course, it's more complex compared to like turn it on or turn it off.
Yes. Yeah.
It was actually surprisingly still very quick and easy, right? And we did a lot of reviews before we started implementation, after we started implementation, as you can imagine, just so we make sure that we don't make the same mistakes over and over again, right? And we believe the success that we had were having the Elastic Path team was amazing. I mean, super supportive, right? The extended team was just super supportive during the project and before that even. And the documentation is it's very good documentation, right? So all about the solution that helps. And of course, having the right engineering resources on our side as well. So I think the pitfall really is here, to summarize it, is you will need some level of technical expertise or a technical team. Things that you might expect would be out of the box often still require maybe a little bit of technical. Again, I'm talking about our solution with, combined with headless and all these things. You will have something that is out of the box, but you need to tweak it a little bit further for your specific needs. Maybe so there's maybe a little bit technical work involved in that as well. But really, it's having the right team and the right approach in place will help you to fully leverage the benefits.
Yeah. Thank you. I think that's helpful. And it's what you find when you have flexibility on one end, right? If you have flexibility, then you're going to have some of the technical kind of experts needed to expand on top of what we call out of the box. But absolutely, it totally makes sense. And I think it's important for brands who are coming through or companies that are looking at Composable to understand that. And something we hear a lot is the team. Like, who do I need on my team to make this successful? And I think that's a really important consideration for folks looking at composable commerce too.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
If you were thinking about how you evaluated your original platform, and then when you went to look at, let's say, composable or headless platforms, how were those evaluations different? Were they different? What was your process like for looking at more flexible solutions?
Right. I mean, from the beginning, we were looking for not a single vendor solution. So we knew that we're going to need a multi-vendor solution, really. And that's due to our business model, probably, right? So we have it starts with, we needed an architecture that supports link or integrations to hundreds of our brand partners or vendors, right? We have a dropship. We have a dropship model. At the same time, we required a high security and scalable solution to support our B2B to C approach. So when we went into the second round of evaluation, we of course had a little bit more knowledge already at that point. And we had some solutions we chosen, right? So we knew, okay, we want to work with XYZ solution for the dropship process or whatever process it might have been, right? So when we went into the evaluation process, it was like, here are the solutions we picked, we would like to integrate with, or at least we thought so. And that might be an important point here. So we had this architecture, we had these ideas that we want this solution we want for this part of the business, this solution we want for that part of the business. But the important thing was that we had a very open communication during the whole evaluation process with your team. Openly shared, this is what we think it should look like, right? And here are the reasons why we want you to build it this or that way. So we went in with a very clear vision, but with an open, but being open for any recommendations during the process, right? We knew that it's not going to be, we thought what we want, we had a clear understanding, we had a clear vision, but this can change, right? So we were very open and wanted to hear your team's feedback as well and work together and figure out what the best solution might be.
Do you think that you keep mentioning our team, which thank you so much. I'll pass that on to the team that I know worked with you through the process and continues to do so. Do you think that is crucial to succeeding with composable commerce, having a vendor who's willing to be a partner, or do you think it really depends on the size of your business?
Oh, 100%. I mean, 100%. It is super crucial. And besides the technology, of course, this was a big part for us to go with this solution and go with Elastic Path, right? And it started during the evaluation process. I mean, having the whole support, the architecture reviews, the recommendations, and we talked to all teams, right? We talked, whether it was the product teams, the support teams, we talked to all of them to make sure we get all their inputs. And that was super important and helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty sure Frank even talked to my team, the marketing team as well. So you definitely got to know the company holistically.
Yeah.
All right. Oh no, go ahead.
So the interesting thing as well was that we had these ideas about the third-party solutions that we want to bring on board or we want to integrate with, which of course is a possibility with this composable commerce idea and the API first approach. What also helped us, and we learned that of course during the evaluation process, was that Elastic Path had already a ton of third-party solutions as part of the offering, right? And that is, on one hand, it's like a super technical advantage, obviously, but it also makes our whole operations side of the business so much easier. So that's also a big part of it.
Yeah, totally agree. You aren't the first one to say that. Just composable and headless are a bit risky feeling because there are so many pieces. And if we can do some things to help take away some of that risk, I think that's something we're pretty committed to as a business. So I'm glad that was helpful. When you think about adding those third-party solutions, are you all doing it in a rolling fashion, or is it kind of like adding as you need different solutions, or is it big bang kind of, the original launch had everything in it?
Yeah, so we went with a phased approach, and we were very clear on that from day one onwards. And maybe that's also because, of course, we were a startup. We had to optimize and balance, the time and the time to market and the resources we had, etc. Right. So we definitely decided to go with a phased approach. Now, there are multiple benefits to that, right? One is, of course, you can focus on a specific solution that you implement in phase one, right? And it might be, it depends based on your business. It might be, you have to look into your business and say, okay, what is business crucial? What is important for me to have a successful solution? And, customer experience will probably drive that decision, right? What did I want to say? Let me just go back. Let me sort my head. Sorry. Yeah, I know. Sorry. So yes, we went with the phased approach, and in our case, it was, of course, we have all the cart functionalities and the checkout processes, and we knew that we had to integrate with the dropship solution and payment gateway, of course, and all these things, right? So that was pretty clear, right? But just as an example, sales tax. As a startup company, we only hit Nexus in California at that time, right? So that made it a little bit easier for us and say, you know what, we don't necessarily have to have it ready on day one. Yes, we have to pay tax. It is what it is, right? But it gives us time to learn more about our audience, about our clients. And it's one state out of 50 now. That gave us a little time, a couple of months, to say, let us figure out and focus on phase one, and then we implement the next phase. And that's exactly what we did. And that helped. And sorry, yeah.
I was going to say, what you're describing is another key benefit of Composable, right? You start with, some people don't like MVP. We say SLC, simple, lovable, complete at Elastic Path, but starting with that and then optimizing based on customer experience, or maybe you're expanding to a new geo, or you're just learning from that original experience. Yeah.
100%. And the way we see it is that, of course, we did it, and everyone does it. Usually you sit down, you identify your business needs at the beginning and the requirements. I think what we learned is define or identify your business needs and requirements over time, especially with composable commerce, right? Or with a composable solution in general, right? Have a clear understanding of, and that's what we try to do, what do we need today? What is it what we need today but also what could we potentially foresee in the middle long term, right?
Yeah.
You don't know, it's not always going to be easy. You probably don't always know, but you can, assume certain things, right? And make sure, and also, and this is happening, I mean, as a startup company, as a startup business, this happens to us continuously, but it's your vision will evolve and shift over time, right?
Really?
The ideas that we had 6 months ago probably completely changed today, right? So what also was a really key factor for the solution that we've implemented is that we needed a flexible platform that supports this shift, right? So whether it might be changing an existing module that we built already, or changing the phases, right? This is what I want to do. So yeah.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Well, Tom, thank you so much for joining me today, sharing a little bit about your experience with Composable at Maavee. Thank you for the kind words for Elastic Path. And I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, and have a lovely day.